It's strange how love can turn into betrayal, and how betrayal can turn into something even more powerful: revenge. My name is Mia, and this is the story of how the two people I trusted most in the world destroyed me, and how I used the most important day of my life to take everything back. It started the way most stories like this do, with love. Ryan and I had been together for 4 years. He wasn't rich, but he was kind, thoughtful, the kind of guy who left notes on my mirror. And Chloe, she was my best friend since high school, the girl who once held my hair while I cried over breakups, and promised me she'd always have my back. Looking back, I see the signs. The way they laughed a little too hard at each other's jokes. The way she suddenly started coming over even when I wasn't home. But I trusted them. I really did. Until that night. It was a Thursday. I was working late, exhausted, hungry, just wanting to crawl into bed. But when I walked through the front door, I heard whispers, giggling, and then silence. I crept toward the living room, heart pounding in my chest. And what I saw: Ryan, shirtless, Chloe, in my robe, laughing. Together. They stared at me, frozen like two deer caught in headlights. No apologies. Just silence. And something inside me shattered. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I simply turned around and left. I blocked them both. Deleted everything. I disappeared. For 6 months, I stayed with my aunt in a small coastal town. Worked in a bookstore. Woke up to the sound of waves instead of memories. And slowly I started to heal. But even as my heart mended, a quiet fire began to grow inside me. Not hatred. Something colder. Martyr. I didn't want them to hurt the way I had. I wanted them to remember me. To regret everything. Fast forward a year. I was back in the city. Confident. Different. Engaged. Daniel. He was wealthy, charming, and knew nothing of my past. But he loved me for exactly who I was now. And I loved the way he made me feel whole again. Our wedding was set for the fall. Small, elegant, unforgettable. And that's when I got the idea. A wedding is a celebration, but it can also be a stage. I unblocked Ryan and Chloe, and sent them both beautiful, handwritten invitations. I wrote, "After everything, I forgive you. Life is too short for hate. I'm getting married, and I'd love for you to come celebrate with me." I even added a little smiley face. 3 days later, Chloe responded. She was so happy for me. Ryan just said, "Wouldn't miss it." Perfect. The venue was stunning. White roses, candlelight, a string quartet. Guests whispered when Ryan and Chloe arrived. She wore a tight red dress. He wore guilt in his eyes. But I was glowing. I walked down the aisle in a custom gown, heart beating steady. Daniel waiting at the altar, smiling. The ceremony was beautiful. But the real show was at the reception. Glasses clinked. Music played. Then I took the mic. "Before we begin," I said, smiling at the crowd, "I want to thank 2 very special guests." I turned toward them. "Chloe and Ryan, you both taught me something important. How betrayal can bloom into strength." The eyes widened. "But don't worry," I said, holding back tears. "I'm not angry anymore. In fact, I owe you both. Because without your betrayal, I never would have found this life, this love, and this version of myself." People clapped. Some awkwardly, some emotionally. Ryan wouldn't meet my eyes. Chloe looked ready to cry. And I smiled. Not to be cruel, but because I was free. As the night ended, Chloe approached me. "Mia, sorry. I thought I loved him. But I see now what we lost." I looked her in the eye and said, "You didn't lose me, Chloe. You threw me away." And with that I walked away. Hand in hand with my husband. Because sometimes the best revenge is living a life so beautiful they regret everything they did to you. What would you have done in Mia's place? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real stories that twist your heart and your mind. Subscribe for more.